Let me ask y'all something. When Cameron talks about New York hip hop, what if the biggest problem isn't a lack of talent, but how intense the competition can get between artists from the same city? Let's listen to Cam break this down.
But as far as 2025, I ain't got no problems with it. Look, I get it. I know what Future may say that, and not just Future. I'm talking about people in general who's in the music business. Shit, especially think about Atlanta, man. It's been rough 2025 for Atlanta artists, man. First of all, you got that YSL case, right? You had, and I don't know none of this because I ain't keep up with it. I'm just telling you from what scrolls by. And I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care about this person, that one. I don't have beef with them or anything like that from what I'm about to say. I'm just being clear. But from what I'm understanding, you got Gutter who told, and then you got YSL Woody who told, which I never heard of YSL Woody until this case. And they was like, damn, they told on Thugger. Then they said Thugger told. And I don't know if Thugger told or not. I just know that all this shit's going on. Then I see the other day, 21 Savage say, yo, Slime talking to Young Thug, yo, we knew Gutter wasn't no street nigga when he told the first time. And I'm like, he told the first time? What was the first time? Y'all put him back in the car after he told? So yeah, like I said, then he tweeted the Future, then they were saying the streets is a myth, fuck the streets. Look, for 2025, as far as Atlanta rappers is concerned, there's been a lot of mixy shit going on. Court cases, people telling, people not telling, people not being friends no more, people tweeting at each other. And from a New York standpoint, and maybe I'm talking about 10, 15 years ago.
Now I want to pause right here because Cameron's about to make the point that really matters for this whole conversation. Notice what he's doing. He's comparing different music markets. That's important because this isn't really just about one rapper having a problem with another rapper. This is about how artists from the same city interact with each other. And that's a business issue too. Because when you have a city full of talented artists, but everybody is operating like they're competing for the same oxygen, you start losing opportunities. Think about it. If 5 artists from the same city collaborate, they're not just helping each other. They're collectively creating demand for the city. More records, more conversations, more shows, more fans crossing over from one artist to the other. But if everybody is worried about who's better, who's getting more attention, who had the better verse, or who's getting the better look, you can end up in a situation where everybody has talent, but nobody builds the bigger ecosystem.
We used to envy the South. When I say envy the South, I'm talking about how they would always stick together, it seemed like. It seemed like the South back in the days never would beef with each other. This person do a song with that person do a song with this person. We used to be as New Yorkers like, you can't get along with a nigga from Harlem, you can't get along from a nigga from the Bronx.
This is the part that I think people need to really sit with. Cam is saying that New York used to envy the South. Think about that. New York is arguably the birthplace of so much hip-hop culture. But New York artists were looking at Atlanta, looking at the South and saying, how are these dudes making this work? And I don't think the lesson is that Southern artists never had beef. I mean, obviously they did. Every major music city has rivalries, egos, politics, and jealousy. But the difference is that the public image of collaboration became part of the Southern movement. Atlanta, Memphis, Houston, all of these cities have had periods where artists have figured out that there is much more power in making the city itself bigger. And that's the part artists sometimes miss. You don't always have to lose for somebody else to win. If another artist from your city gets hot, that can actually make your city more valuable. And if your city becomes more valuable, everybody operating inside that ecosystem has a better chance to eat.
A nigga from the Bronx can't get along with a nigga from Queens. A nigga from Queens can't get along with a nigga from Brooklyn. And it used to be really divided to me as New Yorkers. And I used to be like, them South niggas, they stick together. I remember 2 Chainz being on Funkmaster Flex one time, And he was like, yeah, man, the South stick together more because we don't be brushing niggas off. You ask a New York nigga to do a song, you be like, yo, give me a week or two. Give me 2 weeks. Give me 3 weeks. Give me.
What Cam pointed out right here is the real problem. Borough politics can become business politics. Because the crazy thing about New York is that you have so many different identities inside one city. That diversity is part of what makes New York special. But the downside is that everybody can start protecting their own little territory. And once that happens, competition stops being productive. And there's a difference between saying, I'm going to out-rap you, and saying, I don't want you to win at all. Now, the first one creates greatness. However, the second one creates resentment.
Next one. He said, in Atlanta, we bump into each other. We need a song done. We ride to the studio right there and do it. And I was like, I like that.
Now, that is a business lesson. Because what 2 Chainz is describing isn't really about friendship. It's about friction. Atlanta artists made collaboration easy. If I see you, we can make a record. We don't have to go through 14 people, wait 3 weeks, figure out who's getting paid what. Wonder if somebody thinks I'm trying to steal their spotlight. You just make the song.
I like that. But it seems like over the years, it's been back and forth between different artists from the South. And like I said, years ago, I used to envy the fact that they stick together.
And this is where the Jadakiss and 38 Spesh situation stands out, because this isn't just about who had the better verse. The bigger question is, why aren't 2 talented New York lyricists turning that competition into more music? And that's why 2 Chainz's point is so important. The South didn't necessarily have less competition. They just figured out how to collaborate through the competition. New York has always had the talent. The question has always been whether that talent can put the egos to the side long enough to build something bigger than the individual artist. And that's not just a New York thing, but many cities outside the South have a hard time collaborating and putting the egos to the side.
You know, shit happens, man. But 2025 was great for me.
Oh, okay.
So now I want to know what y'all think. Is Cameron right? Has New York hip-hop always been too divided by competition? Or is that competitive energy actually the reason New York produced so many great rappers? And specifically, with Jadakiss and 38 Spesh, do you see that as a healthy hip-hop competition? Or is it just another example of a bigger problem Cam is talking about? Because I think there's a real difference between I want to beat you and I don't want you to win. One creates better music and the other creates division. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.